Alright, so quick on today, guys. I'm going to be replying to a very popular request that you guys have been making so far, that I should do a video on how to play Aria Aria. Now, in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys some basic Aria Aria bass lines that I played recently, and they sound really nice, okay? So there's no specific bass line that we are learning, but I'm going to just show you guys some stuff that I played recently on Aria Aria that sounds nice, and we're going to be creating some in this video. Now, the track I'm using to do this video is a very old video link I downloaded one time in my phone. Okay, so I don't have the link to that video and I don't know how to search for it, but I'm going to tell you guys the title of that video so you can go and check it out. It's by Gratitude, okay, and it's on the key of C#. Now, before we get fully into the video, if you have not registered for the 2 weeks online bootcamp coming up by December, now this bootcamp is going to be a very interesting one, where at the end of the bootcamp we're going to be having a one-on-one session with me. So in as much as we have group live sessions that we're going to be doing, where we're going to be diving in deep into many topics that we have done on this channel that we have not been able to explore, we're going to be having a one-on-one session with me where you can then table your own personal challenges on the bass guitar, okay, and then we'll get to deal with it. So let's get into the video. Now, I had to start with this particular bass line because as long as you're playing Aria Aria, you cannot run away from playing this bass line. This is like a very legendary bass line for Aria Aria, and then I'll show you guys how we are going to be building more stuffs from this particular bass line, okay? Okay, do. Normally you should hear something like do, so, re, re, do, so. Now, but because we have other ways to play that makes it sounds better, we have, then you play hammer on from your fa to so. Now, if you followed some of the videos I did in my previous channel, you see how I talked about how you can add some other techniques to make your Aria Aria sound better. I'm going to show you guys still here, which hammer on is part of them. So, do you see how it sounded better than hammer on without hammer on? So do you see the difference? So pay attention to these simple details that we're going to be doing in this video. Okay, I'm going to be breaking it down as I play them. Okay, one thing must pay attention here is that the bass line is going like 1 and 5 progression. Okay, because of the song 1 and 5 progression. Most times in Aria Aria you see things like that, 1 and 5, 1 5 1 5, or maybe if the if the keyboardist is playing 1 7 1 7 1, you can still play the 1 5. Okay, so you see how we can also relate progression to the groove in Aria Aria. Okay, 1 7 1, and this is easy to understand because when you have, those are the notes in the triad of the G major. Okay, so re. Okay, I'll still show you guys some things that I like to do even in this kind of scenario. Let's do that. Okay, so now this is what I just played. Now I like to also apply this in Aria Aria, especially I do it like a suspense and off time groove kind of thing. So instead of just playing, at some point I'll start playing. Do you see that? So let me do it again. Then I'm going to play from that particular groove down to this one I just showed you guys. So let's go. Sounded. So I do it like a suspense kind of thing in between the groove. If you guys remember when I was teaching you guys something about Makosa, I told you guys how you have like a home groove, right? And then you have a groove that comes in like a secondary groove. Okay, let's say primary groove and a secondary groove. So the primary groove is, then this is like the secondary groove. Okay, so when you play this, you still have to go back to the original groove you're playing. So let me call out the notes of what I was doing here. Is sometimes I do ti ti mi mi, ti ti mi mi. Okay, ti ti mi mi so, ti ti mi mi so. Sometimes I do 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 mi mi so, do do mi mi so. It all depends. So if you look at this thing I played now, you notice that this is basically the arpeggio or the triad. Now these are things that we're going to be looking deep into in this bootcamp. I strongly encourage that you actually register for this bootcamp. It's worth the sacrifice, okay? And it all depends. Now let's look at how I also like to make it sound much more better. You see how I'm playing from the low octave, right? Now it's more sweet when I do it in a higher octave, so I can just play on C sharp, so that I can get that very high, deep, and low sound. Okay, so high to deep and thick. Okay, so let me put it in the song so you see. There you can see what I'm trying to demonstrate, even though the transition was not very clean. Very, very interesting. Now, if you guys followed my previous channel, you see how I also talked about when you're playing Aria Aria, it's very important that you know how to link from high octave to low octave. The same thing you're playing here. If you play it in a higher octave, you're going to double up how that bass line sounds, and you're going to increase the tension of that bass line and make it sound much more better. Okay, so can you see that? Let's put it in the song so you see. Transiting from high octave to low octave. Now, one of the things you guys don't know about Aria Aria is that you don't really need to play much in Aria Aria to sound groovy. Okay, the secret is being able to lock a particular groove for a long time and make it intense. Now, the only way you can make it intense is just by the secret I just showed you guys, moving from octave to octave. Okay, that's the secret. So let's create some other interesting bass lines that you guys can practice after this video. What I played here was do do mi do re so re so do do mi do re so re so. Okay, do do mi do re so, low octave re so. Okay, this same bass line, taking it to a higher octave is going to make it sound better. See how it changed the whole rhythm of the bass line. Okay, now don't always forget to also include the concentration of progression, whatever you're doing. Look at do do. Do you see that? So we are complementing for that progression. Okay. I'm trying to create this bass line. Let's take it back. So here is what I'm trying to do. Alright, so do do mi do re so so ti so re, do mi do re so so ti so re. So let's take it back again and see if we can apply in the song. Alright, so that's it. Now here's the particular pattern that favored this bass line. Very simple. This is basically like the arpeggio. Okay, this is just the beginning of the bass line. Then I continued with You can still play it in this pattern. So if you don't want to be moving around. Don't forget, if you move like playing it in another octave, it's going to sound better too. Okay? Let's create another bass line. Okay, so look at it here. Very simple. Like I told you guys, in Aria Aria, you don't really need to play much to sound better. Let me take it much more slower. And then if you know how to mix your octaves, high and low octaves, it sounds better, okay? Okay. This is just something I just added now in this business. So do, okay? Let's go. Alright, here is the bass line. Alright, so this bass line is inspired by the drummer. I've already told you guys how you have to always consider the drum, okay? So do do mi fa so so ti so so do do mi fa so. Okay, do do mi fa so so ti so so do do mi fa so so. Okay, from what the drum is doing. So you have to always consider that part of it. This is something that I've also taught most of my private students and is working for them even till date. Every part of the drum counts. So the hi-hat, okay? Do you see how it's sounding? Now, if you take this outside the context of what the hi-hat is doing, it's going to give you another particular rhythm, like maybe like a fun kind of groove. Oh, okay, let's go. So you see that? So the drum part is what is making this bass line sound the way it's sounding. Okay? Very important. Alright, let's go. Alright, so this bass line you can actually play it whichever way you like, from low octave to high octave. You guys can actually see how playing from a low octave to a high octave changes the whole vibe and rhythm of the bass line. Okay, so okay, do do mi la re so so ti so re, do do mi la re so so ti so re do. Very simple. Then down to a higher octave. Okay. This is very simple and you can literally apply it this Sunday. So now I'm going to see you guys in my next video. If you have interest in registering for the 2 weeks online bootcamp, the link to how you can register is in the description box. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Peace.